The first thing he noticed was the sunlight spilling through the wide restaurant windows, too bright for a moment like this, too honest. It made everything visible, the nervous tension in his chest, the quiet shame he carried, and the woman already waiting at the table, dressed carefully, sitting upright as if she had practiced how to belong there. This was supposed to be easy money. Ruin the date, walk away, go home to his child. But standing there in the middle of a bright afternoon, he felt something tighten inside him, as if the day itself was watching. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us how one moment can change a life, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Thread. Your support keeps stories like this alive. He was a single father, the kind that woke up before sunrise not for ambition but for responsibility. His days were measured in school drop-offs, packed lunches, and counting the hours until he could pick his child up again. The job he had taken was not something he was proud of. A stranger online had offered him a large sum of money to sabotage a blind date. The reason did not matter, the message said. Just make sure she leaves early, embarrassed or disappointed enough to never want to see him again. He told himself it was harmless, that no one would really be hurt. He told himself many things that morning as the daylight followed him everywhere, refusing to let him hide. The restaurant was elegant but calm, filled with the soft hum of daytime conversations and the clink of cutlery. The woman stood out not because of her height, but because of how composed she was. She had chosen a deep red dress, neat and confident, and held a small handbag close to her side. Her posture carried years of learning how to be seen without asking for permission. When she noticed him, her face did not change. No hesitation, no apology for existing. Just a steady, open expression that made him pause longer than he intended. He sat down across from her, feeling the weight of the task pressing on his shoulders. The plan had been simple. Act distracted. Be dismissive. Make her feel like she did not belong at the table. But as the sunlight reflected off the white tablecloth and illuminated her calm face, the plan began to feel cruel in a way he had not expected. This was not an anonymous target. This was a person who had likely prepared for this moment with hope, just like anyone else. He started to follow through anyway. He checked his phone too often. He let silences stretch uncomfortably long. He spoke about himself without warmth, without care, as if the table were empty. Each small action felt heavier than the last. He noticed her hands resting still, her eyes observing, not wounded, not angry. Just aware. The more he tried to ruin the moment, the more the air between them changed, thick with something he could not name. Then something unexpected happened. Instead of shrinking or excusing his behavior, she straightened slightly and smiled, a real smile, not forced or defensive. There was no confrontation, no embarrassment. There was acceptance. In that quiet reaction, she reclaimed the moment without saying a word. It was not pity she showed him, but understanding, as if she recognized the weight he carried even before he did. The rest of the afternoon unfolded differently than he had planned. He found himself listening, truly listening, not because he was paid to but because he wanted to. She spoke about her life, her routines, the way daylight felt like freedom to her because it made her visible without shadows. She did not frame her experiences as tragedy. She spoke of resilience as if it were as ordinary as breathing. Each sentence chipped away at the wall he had built around himself. He thought of his child, of the lessons he wanted to teach without realizing it. He had always believed survival meant hardening yourself, doing what needed to be done no matter how it felt. Sitting there in the bright afternoon, he realized how wrong he had been. Survival could also mean choosing not to hurt someone when you had the chance. Guilt settled in slowly, not sharp but deep. The money he had been promised suddenly felt heavy, almost toxic. He imagined going home later that day, looking into his child's eyes, knowing he had intentionally caused pain to someone who had done nothing to deserve it. The daylight did not let him escape that thought. It stayed with him, warm and unrelenting. As the date came to a natural close, there was no dramatic ending, no scene that would make headlines. Just two people standing up, the afternoon still young, the world continuing as if something monumental had not just shifted. She thanked him for the time, sincerely, and wished him well. That was it. No bitterness. No regret. Just dignity. He walked out into the sunlight alone, but changed. He did not accept the payment. He blocked the number. On the way home, he stopped at a park, sat on a bench, and let the day settle into him. For the first time in a long while, he cried, not from exhaustion or fear, but from the quiet realization that kindness had found him when he least deserved it. In the days that followed, he could not stop thinking about that afternoon. He found himself softer with his child, more present, less rushed. He began turning down work that felt wrong, even when money was tight. Somehow, things still worked out. They always seemed to, when he chose honesty over convenience. Weeks later, by chance or fate, he saw her again in the same restaurant, sunlight pouring in just as before. This time, there was no task, no plan, no hidden motive. Just a man walking past a table, carrying gratitude he would never fully be able to explain. Their eyes met briefly, and she smiled. Not in recognition of a date, but in recognition of a shared moment that had mattered. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that one small choice can ripple through a life, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your engagement helps spread stories that matter. Before this story ends, we have one special request. Please comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. The sunlight eventually faded into evening, as it always does, but the lesson of that bright afternoon stayed with him. He learned that dignity is powerful, that kindness can disarm cruelty without effort, and that sometimes the moment meant to break someone ends up rebuilding another. And in a world that often feels rushed and unforgiving, that quiet truth was more than enough to change everything.